Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Albert.
I'm Mike.
And this is our guest today, Becky.
Hello.
So, as you know, we've been focusing on women empowerment, and Becky's really special. She's doing a lot, and we really love her, so we would like you to get to know her and learn a little bit about her. So, Becky, tell us what you do.
Many things. I guess my day job, I'm an organic chemist working for the Department of Environmental Quality, making sure that water is safe for Oklahomans. The thing that's probably not why you asked me to be here, the thing that I'm doing that's probably why you asked me to be here is I have a podcast called Twisted Sisterds podcast. And we talk about issues that affect women and minorities. Started out where we're talking about issues that affect women and minorities in the Christian church and in culture. We do still, but I think we kind of have shifted a little more to just culture in general. We started out with 3 women who all grew up in the evangelical Christian church, and we kind of rotated out the third position because we've needed breaks. And but still, like, everyone who has been a host on there has experience with the evangelical Christian church, either in childhood or like early adulthood, and has now like kind of transferred out of it because of the difficulties, the hurt they found there. So yeah.
Interesting. What do you think drew you to use podcasts as an avenue to connect with people?
Yeah, it wasn't my first idea. I mean, it wasn't my idea originally. Actually, I had talked to my best friend about maybe doing a YouTube show, but we didn't know what we were going to do. We were both kind of like, the person who's like, oh yeah, I have these great ideas, but then the follow through is a little rough. So that never happened. And then she moved to Kansas City, so it's like, well, no. But podcasting started because I and the other 2 original ladies started listening to another podcast, 3 former pastors in Indiana. We became Patreon supporters of theirs. We met each other in their private Facebook group, and then after the election in 2016, it was the morning after the election, I posted in there that we need more women's voices in the public arena, and it'd be kind of cool to have a 3-woman podcast. Yeah. And then it happened less than a month later.
Nice.
It got started.
And how long have you been doing it now?
It will be 2 years on December 4th of 2018, so this year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice establishment there.
Yeah.
You know, staying power.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been great. There's a lot to talk about, and there are a lot of people who have stories to tell, and not just about church issues, but like we just had a woman on who talked about being an adoptee. So she was adopted when she was a kid, and telling her story, because we get a lot of stories from the adoptive parents, but the kids, we don't really get their stories in their own words, especially when they grow up and talk about their stories and the difficulty that there is between, like, yes, being thankful and grateful to your parents who adopted you and loving your parents, but then also still feeling that pull back to your family of origin, and like what are you supposed to think and feel about them and what they went through, and are you like being a traitor to either one of them by caring for the other one?
Right.
So
How can our followers keep up with you and your podcast?
Yeah, so you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Twisted Sisterds. I'll spell that because Sisterds is not spelled the way you think it is. It's Twisted, Twisted, and then Sisterds, Sisterds. That is a play on words off of the title of the podcast that we came out of. So we're on Instagram under that name, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, on Podbean, pretty much any podcast app. I personally use Podcast Addicts that you can download. It's great for finding like all podcasts everywhere.
Nice.
So, including ours, because ours downloads in my Podcast Addict every week.
Make sure you guys check it out.
And support us on Patreon too if you'd like, and we have a private Facebook group for people who do that.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Both of these guys are in there.
Yes,
Actually,
we
the
are.
Yes Love team all is in
Yes,
there.
we
Yeah.
are all members.
Yeah. So you said that it's kind of transitioned and female empowerment. Is that
Yeah, female
Is
and
that-
minority empowerment. Yeah.
female? With that, what do you feel is like your definition of being a woman?
Yeah, that is a hard question. Because I do consider myself fully a woman. Like, I am not trans at all. So I sympathize or empathize, I guess, with my friends who are trans, but like I don't understand it in that like it's not who I am, so I don't feel it on the same visceral level. But man, I think being a woman is, I don't know. Wow, that is hard, and this is like the worst answer ever. But
No, it's your answer, and that's what we
yeah.
want.
Or how would you define your womanhood?
My womanhood. Yeah. Okay. So my womanhood is I'm both tough and soft. It depends on in what situation. I'm a very resilient person. I grew up with parents who are emotionally unhealthy, severely so, and my sisters and I had to learn how to become adults pretty early. And also I was what's called the tomboy growing up. And through college, like if I was wearing a dress, which I am today, but you can't tell. If I was wearing a dress in college, everyone knew that I had to do laundry because I never wore dresses. I never wore pants. But it's about, so for me, it's about, I guess it's about embodying feminine energy, but it doesn't have to be over the top. Like I don't have to be girly to be a woman. I don't have to be girly to embody feminine energy. I think that everyone has feminine and masculine energy in them, but some have more, like express more of one than the other. So for me, the feminine energy is the one that's going to be softer, caring, just the one that's going to be more communal, I guess, more connecting. I'm a connector, like I connect people, yeah, I don't know, it's just like the one, like the energy that just kind of keeps us all together. I guess kind of like a yin and yang thing.
Yeah,
Like with the masculine energy is going to be more like get things done, push through, but then the feminine energy is going to be like, yes, that needs to be done, but we also need to stay together because we are social creatures. We have to. We depend on each other. So, yeah.
That's a good answer.
Okay.
Fantastic answer.
Good.
Now this one could be easier or harder depending on how you look at it.
Yep.
But would you rather have a nice juicy burger or a cheesy pizza? Or a pizza, any kind
Any
of
pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of your best burger, your best pizza. Which one would you rather
Yeah,
have?
I think I'd go with burger.
We get a lot of burgers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Burgers has been winning out.
That's it. Okay.
Which is funny because me and Albert both chose pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that is funny. And you're like interviewing women too, who are like, oh, they go with like the bread. No, we're all like meats. No, but also like burgers they're very versatile too. And I'm kind of a semi-meat eater, so I try to limit my meat. So like if a great black bean burger patty counts, then yes.
well, they've come
I'm
out
all
with those
for it.
ultimate burgers too, or what are
I've
they?
heard about
What are
them.
The ones that bleed?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but they're-
meat juice or something.
But they're like I've had them. I've had
Really?
a couple of them, and they're actually really good.
Yeah,
So if you're looking for the vegan option, a lot of
Nice.
places are getting that,
yeah.
and so.
Cool.
Yeah, so I went to I was in Des Moines actually
Sure.
at Zombie Burger,
Okay.
and they actually have those, and
Okay.
they're divine. They
Oh,
really
cool.
are. You do not know the difference.
Wow.
I don't think.
Interesting.
But
We'll have to try.
Yeah, I know.
So one topic, and we kind of started talking a little bit about it, was like the Halloween costumes. And
Yeah.
one of the main reasons I wanted to ask you this is because in the private group,
Mhm.
that picture of the Handmaid's Tale was posted, the
Yes.
sexy version.
Right.
So I kind of want to get your take on that and what you think.
Yeah, it's
I mean, this and
So
can I elaborate?
Yeah, please,
just
sure.
on the like sexy costumes in general.
Right.
You know, the parodies, I guess, men and women
Mhm.
between the men and women costumes.
Mhm.
You know, because that's really, I mean, essentially what it is.
Right.
You know, so it would be interesting to hear. You know, because we have followed you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
in that Facebook group and.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
some-
And I've seen, I've not finished the series, but I've seen the first season of The Handmaid's Tale. And so, like, this story. And, like, it's just ridiculous.
Just
but
okay, so Handmaid's Story is
yeah,
just
okay.
real quick.
Yeah, I'll give a little,
Little
a
synopsis.
quick synopsis of it. So it's in a dystopian future. It's set in what was the U.S. And it's a okay. So Margaret Atwood wrote it with everything that happens in it has happened somewhere in the world. So none of the things that happen in it are unprecedented. However, all of them haven't happened all in the same country at the same time. But it is a setting. So this country is run by a religious fundamentalist religious government, a theocracy, and they have different classes of people. I don't remember the name of the leaders or whatever, the captains and their wives. Something happened in the environment that there was mass sterilization of the people, and so they're not able to have children anymore. And so the women who are found to be able to have children are abducted and taken to be the handmaid of one of the, I think, captains or whatever they're called, and of the ruling class. And so they are, every month when they are fertile, they are raped by the man whose household that they're in, and then hopefully they get pregnant, have a baby. If they do, that baby is now the child of that couple, not theirs. And there are also women who are called, I guess, Aunt Lydia's. The aunts, I guess, like maybe Lydia. And they are the ones who prepare the handmaids to be in that household. And yeah, so it's
yeah.
crazy.
So everyone that knows, essentially, obviously, the handmaids,
Mhm.
but somebody put out a costume that made the handmaids look sexy.
Mhm.
There is a costume out there for whoever buys something like that.
Right, because that's not glorifying rape at all.
No.
So yeah, man, it's so counterproductive because it's making this this woman who is oppressed already,
Mm-hmm.
then you are making that look sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know, I just don't get where people's brains go.
Right. So in that instance, I mean, it seems, at least from our perspective,
Mhm.
all three of us, it seems very easy to say that that's out of line. It's over the line.
Yeah,
It's crossed.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Where,
And there was a lot of backlash over that one too, and and they actually did end up pulling it from being sold. The company that was selling
Really?
it, yes.
oh, that's good. That's good
Yeah,
to hear at least.
yeah. They
But-
heard.
Where is that line though? Because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of Halloween costumes out there. Because I feel like sometimes, especially in Halloween,
Mhm.
there are times where there is a balance, especially with females, that you have. I mean, because there's that empowering,
Right.
that the woman dresses up as in a
Having-
Catwoman.
Right,
And
having
you're
body
like,
autonomy
yeah,
and
yeah,
making her
exactly. You
decisions.
work
Sure.
a girl, type,
Sure.
type
Absolutely.
thing versus, where's the line of what is considered inappropriate,
Right.
Or counterproductive.
or counterproductive.
Counterproductive,
That's
yeah.
a better word.
Yeah.
Sorry, inappropriate's not the right word.
Sure.
Counterproductive.
Sure.
If somebody wears, this one obviously is a
Yeah,
very
that
bad
was
example.
just- I mean,
But
yeah.
I'm trying to think.
It's a
of
good
an
example in that it's
In that
extreme.
aspect, yes,
right?
extreme,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that might flirt maybe in the gray area.
Uh-huh.
As a woman, and how do you feel that's
Sure.
helping or taking away?
Right. Yeah, and I did watch last week a little bit of the lady who you did interview, and I agree with her in that it should be like your Halloween costume choice should be your choice. Should be something that you want how you want to dress. So if you want to dress in a sexy outfit and that feels right for you and that is empowering for you, by all means. But I don't think you should be persuaded to dress in a certain way because that's how everyone's doing it. And also, I'm the type of person who never does something because everyone's doing it. I'm always the one who's asking why. I'm like, why? What's the reason for this? And if your reason's not good enough, I'm not going to do it. And I think that comes into body autonomy too, making decisions for your own body. If it feels right for you, then that's fine. If it doesn't feel right for you, and yet that's what everyone else is doing, it's not right for you. And so then you need to figure out why, and if it still is not right for you, then hopefully you can find a way to have the courage in yourself to go against the norm and do what is right for you. So I'm thinking back my costumes. I don't think I've ever had a sexy costume that the character was not already sexy.
Okay.
So last year I dressed up as Franny Fisher from Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. She is fabulous and you should watch that too. It's on Netflix. An Australian woman from the 1920s. She's completely fictional, but she's a woman in the 1920s in Australia, and she's an heiress. But she goes around and she solves murders in, I think it's in Melbourne. I think if I remember. But she has these awesome costumes, and they're not especially skin revealing or anything like that, but they're just well done and beautiful costumes and everything. And so I dressed up like her last year. But then 2 or 3 years ago, I dressed up as Rosie the Riveter, and not sexy Rosie the Riveter, because frankly, I think Rosie the Riveter is sexy as she is because she is strong and she's getting things done because she had to, because someone had to.
I think an
fill those
empowered woman
positions.
is extremely that. I think that's attractive.
Right, confidence is,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I think it
attractive.
is
I
for
think we can agree
I
on
think between no matter who you're dating, you want
Yeah.
to date or with a confident person.
absolutely
So I think
confident, not what's the word I'm looking for? The one.
cocky.
Yeah, well, yes, confident, not cocky. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And that's another line you want to walk because you want to be confident, but you don't want to cross over to cockiness.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
tightrope.
cockiness, it is. And I think cockiness, where that kind of goes over the line, is when it becomes a stratification thing. So confidence is you have confidence in your abilities.
Right.
Cockiness is you have confidence in your abilities over someone else.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say harmful to others when it becomes harmful to others, but you're essentially
yeah,
right up the same path that
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So
Well,
Yeah.
and cockiness sometimes could be insecurity too,
Yeah.
because you're
Absolutely.
overcompensating. So you're well, I'm going to show them I'm better.
yes. Instead of where it's the internal confidence, where it's not about it. You just have that confidence in yourself. You don't have to show. It just shows.
Right.
I am curious. We've heard your last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going as this year? I know you said that you were traveling.
You know, yeah, I won't be around. I won't be in town. I'm actually gonna be flying out to go see some friends on Halloween night.
I think you should fly in costume.
Oh,
You should.
You should fly
I
in
do-
costume.
I do have a costume that I've been mulling over, and I have to find the pieces for it. But it's fair. I don't know. It should be fairly easy to find them. But I am a huge Doctor Who fan. Huge Doctor Who fan. And the new Doctor Who, we've had 2 episodes so far this season, is a woman. And her outfit, like I was thinking about dressing up as the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who 13, or Doctor 13. So maybe, and that would be something that like I could actually kind of travel in, because it's not like super out there. But like anyone who knows Doctor Who and sees it would know.
Well, recognize.
Would recognize it. Everyone else would just think, oh, she's just wearing a lot of color like I am today.
I think I've gone finally figured mine out. I'm gonna cross between a 1920s gangster
Yeah.
and steampunk. So I'm gonna take alternate reality into the 20s.
Nice.
There
I
you
go.
love it. And steampunk is awesome too.
I'm a big steampunk guy. So
Oh, yeah.
I love steampunk.
I love it. I've never dressed up in steampunk because it's elaborate.
Yeah,
But that is cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All kinds of. I've already got a lot of the pieces.
You'll have
but-
to take pictures.
Yeah.
We'll have to see
Oh
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm still not sure, but
Right.
Halloween's my thing, and I'm far behind, so I'm
Yes.
trying to,
Yeah.
trying to work on it.
In 2 weeks.
I might just
We're
get a
2 weeks
mask.
out now.
I might.
We've been spending a lot of time with this. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So, all right, I really like Disney villains, so I
Yes.
gotta hear from you who
Uh-huh.
who you would choose. If it came down between Ursula
Mm-hmm.
or Maleficent.
I think Ursula.
Nice.
See,
And
kinda
as
know.
soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, that's right. You're like Ursula.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Ursula. Just something about under the sea and everything, and she's just is exactly who she is.
Yeah. I think she lives unapologetically too. And,
Agreed, completely.
definitely, good choice.
Thanks. I knew you'd love me anyway.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna ask this one instead of what we have on here, but because I kind of know it's tell us how you do and how you flex your powers when you're already doing something, which we've already talked about.
Yeah.
So it's not that you don't have more than just that.
Right.
But I feel this one actually would be, I think, it'd be more interesting especially from my perspective. Top 3 women you look up to.
Yeah. So, I love Michelle Obama. Then there's also one who's younger than me, Emma Watson.
Okay.
Is pretty fantastic. She is doing a lot for women's empowerment and women's body autonomy. And oh man, because I thought of 3 last week after, and then I'm trying to remember who the third one who I wanted to mention. Here's one. Wangari Maathai. She is a Kenyan, I think. Oh no. I think Kenyan. Oh gosh, and if anyone out there knows me,
The name sounds
watching this.
familiar.
she's either she's either Kenyan or she's Nigerian, but her name sounds Kenyan. Anyway, I'm pretty sure she's Kenyan. Anyway, she worked with reforestation in Kenya, I believe. And she ended up getting, I believe she got the Nobel Prize for it. But yeah, she's just a woman who saw a problem and figured out how to fix it or work on it, at least get it to a better situation than it was. So yeah, I know I thought of another one last week. not a lot.
What about somebody personal?
Personal?
You just one, somebody that's, you know,
Sure,
that's
someone
up
close
there.
to me?
Yeah, someone's.
You know what? Probably my former pastor's wife. So I mentioned how my parents have severe emotional issues, and so my older sister was away at college. I was a junior in high school. My younger sister was in 8th grade, and my pastor and his wife took my sister and me in. And so she became kind of a surrogate mother for us. Our mother has never, from that point on, our mother has never been able to be a mother to us. Our dad has, but has been able to be a parent, but our mother has not. So she kind of became my surrogate mother, and I still, not to her face, and she probably won't see this, but when I explain her to other people, I call her my grandma, because she's only 5 years older than my parents, but it's easier to say that than my mom, because she's not my mom, and it's but then explain who she actually is, so I just call her my grandma. And when I go down to Texas, I'm more likely to see them than I am to see
I know what you're talking about. I used to call him Uncle Bill.
Sure.
But he's actually.
I guess you could call my aunt and uncle.
Well, yeah, no, in all honesty, who he is he's my mother's cousin's husband.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so technically
That's
he's a cousin by marriage.
Yeah. He's that generation.
Right. So now I just call him my cousin, but
Yeah.
But even still, he was more, he's my mom's age. He's
Right.
He's more of an uncle to me than he is,
Right.
But every time that I tried to explain my family to someone,
Yeah.
it was Uncle Bill, so he's literally. And
I
was
know. Yeah. And that's the thing.
We don't always choose our family.
Yeah. But sometimes we do choose.
Yeah,
Sometimes we do.
You did. I mean, he's family, yes,
Yeah.
because he is married to your blood relative, but he also, but you chose him
To accept him as somebody that's very important.
Yes, a
Yes,
specific
very-
position for you.
Yeah.
And
Sort of like your stepmother.
grandma.
Yeah. Sorry, grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. She took on a role.
Yeah.
That maybe you didn't know at the time that you needed filled.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm fully of the opinion that children need adults in their life who they trust, who are not their parents. And that's why my sisters and I are able to be functioning people in the world, and both my sisters have kids of their own, and they're able to be good parents to them, because we had adults in our lives who were not our parents, who were able to fill in those big gaps that our parents had. But even if your parents are good parents and can take care of you, even if they don't have these emotional issues or whatever it is, you still just need an adult to go to sometimes who's not your parent. You can just tell the things that you're not going to tell your parents. And who will hold it in confidence unless it's a safety issue. So I try to be that to my nieces and nephew now, but they also have other adults in their lives too, and that's good as well. So.
You've kind of described what we want to be.
Absolutely, right, right.
That safe space for people to understand that you have a warm place here, and if we can't help you, we will find somebody that can.
Come be yourself.
Yeah.
Right,
so.
which as you've noticed too is what we're trying to do in the tavern too, which is our Facebook group.
Yes.
And I feel like there is a big lack of that, and I mean I know you all have felt that too. That there's a lack of those places where people can come and be themselves and be accepted for who they are.
Very much so.
And then learn how to accept other people for who they are.
Right.
And so,
Well, and you had talked about it, in the church sometimes can be a not so accepting place for people that are, say in
Different,
the LGBT
or different.
or just different in general. So.
have different opinions.
Right, exactly.
And it's supposed to be that safe space, but it has gotten off the rails.
Interpretations.
goodness, yes.
That's its own podcast, right?
That might
Interpretation.
be its own season of podcast. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, as you know, obviously it's getting colder out. You guys don't know it, but it's chilly outside. It has been. But we're getting close to Halloween. We're also getting close to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So the question has to be asked: pumpkin pie or sweet potato?
Both, but
Yeah.
pumpkin pie. Yeah, I
All
prefer
right,
pumpkin
I got another
pie.
pumpkin
Yeah,
pie.
I love pumpkin too.
I prefer pumpkin pie. I think sweet potato pie tends to be too sweet. Sometimes it seems to be sweeter than pumpkin pie, or just, I don't know, but
The sweet potato pie always seems the consistency is
it's
a lot
different.
different to me than the consistency of
Mhm.
pumpkin. And I don't know if it's because the pumpkin comes out of a can and the sweet potatoes don't.
Oh, interesting, maybe. Well,
So I would be
depending how
interested
you
to
make 'em.
try maybe a pumpkin pie that
Mhm.
actually uses pumpkin.
Oh,
I don't think I've
it
ever
uses
had.
a fresh pumpkin.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever had that.
Yeah.
So
Every year I mean to do that. Every year I mean to get a sugar pumpkin and bake it and get the pumpkin out of it to make
wait,
a
you have to
pie.
have a certain type of pumpkin?
Yeah.
It's like the small ones.
It's the small ones. It's the
Oh,
little
okay.
orange ones about so big,
Mhm.
maybe as big as that, but not
Okay.
any bigger. Yes, because oh my, like you're gonna get a cooking lesson here too. But they have
You're
like-
welcome, people.
Yeah, I have many talents.
She does. Many.
Weightlifting, running, cooking, theater, whatever. Podcasting now, I guess. Less water in them, and they
Okay.
actually have flavor.
Okay.
Like the
Those
big
are
ones,
flavor.
not real. I mean, they do, but like
I mean,
not
I always make
good.
I always use the seeds. I always make something out
Yeah,
of the seeds.
no, the seeds great. Like
Yeah,
from the
so-
big ones that you use for
Oh,
jack o'
love
lanterns,
'em.
the seeds, yeah.
Love them. That's what I was
Yeah,
telling
pumpkin
Albert before we were coming over here. Is like we need to have a pumpkin carving.
Oh,
I'll set
Would
that
you
one
like
up. We need to have a pumpkin pie baking.
Apparently,
Oh,
apparently.
yeah.
I think we need to
Apparently.
try that.
Yeah.
But I was also saying like, let's do a sweet potato pumpkin pie. Like,
Yeah.
I think
a
that's
taste
that.
off or something. Like
Yeah.
a taste test.
Let's do a
Yeah.
taste off.
Or just like both combined.
Wait, wasn't it Amy?
Oh, both.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good
Didn't
idea.
Amy? Was it Amy that liked the sweet potato
I
pie?
think so.
All right, then we're gonna have to get her involved.
Yeah,
Say
we just have
hey.
to cook all together.
But-
sometimes.
Yeah.
But really, I'll take just almost any pie, except for I don't like pecan pie though.
Oh man,
Mm.
I
Don't
love
like
pecan
pecan
pie.
Wait, you grew up in Oklahoma?
No.
Okay, see, if you grew up in Oklahoma, that would have been a sin.
I grew up in Seattle, in Washington.
Did you know that that's our state pie? The
Oh, is
Oklahoma- Yeah.
The pumpkin pie?
Pe-
You know the
pecan.
pecan pie?
The pecan.
Do you call it
Did you say
pecan
pecan
here?
or pecan?
I do say
Yeah, but you
pecan.
grew up
I say
in,
pecan.
You grew up in Kansas.
But see,
I grew up in
I,
Oklahoma.
You grew up in Oklahoma? Oh, you moved
Yeah.
up there and then
I
right?
spent 20 years in the military.
That's
and then
what do you say?
ended up there.
Pecan.
Pecan. Most people say pecan.
see, I'm down with pecan. Just
Are you?
because when you drink soda, what do you drink out of?
Can?
There
Pecan.
you go, pecan. I just feel like it goes
I
better
mean,
that way.
sure, I get the etymology of that, but also in English, if you add letters, you can change the pronunciation.
What about caramel versus caramel?
See, I'm back and forth on
See, and if you look in the
So,
dictionary,
like-
I think both of them, pecan and pecan, are both in there.
that. Yeah, no,
Same
oh,
thing with
it's like
caramel.
I understand it when you say either
Yeah.
one. I just
I guess
default to
it's-
pecan
yeah.
because
Well, no, it
of
makes
my
sense. No, it makes sense. I mean, it's just something that I've developed as
Yeah.
knowing here and being here. I've done both.
Sure.
I've said both,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, it's just too sweet and I like pecans. I'll just eat pecans.
See, there
But like the
I
pie,
don't know.
meh.
I like the pie better.
See? There you go. Yeah.
So we're getting ready to wrap up, but I really want to just leave on this note. What advice would you give to young women out there, that are trying to find themselves? You have many talents, and you have a very established community, especially with your podcast. What kind of advice would you offer?
Yeah. Find what you like to do and do it. If you have a passion for something, use the people who tell you that you can't do it to inspire you to do it even more. So instead of getting discouraged by people who tell you that you can't do whatever this big thing is that you're wanting to do, prove them wrong. Use that energy to then inspire you to do it and then come back and say, Look what I did.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a contrarian sometimes. And find your people too. So find the people who, like your community, who will support you, who will accept you as you are, but not let you stay that way either. So accept you as you are, but also
Not like
push
said.
you.
Oh, okay.
Push you to be better.
Mhm.
Not like change like intrinsically who you are. I'm not saying that at all, but like push you to better patterns of action, because we all start off with pattern. Oh, we'll get into the Enneagram. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But like we all have things that we do, just patterns of action that we do that have worked for us in the past, or we've just like accepted, learned, that are no longer serving us or our best interest. And your people will accept you as you are with all of those things that you do, but then as they get to know you, as you get to know them, you get comfortable with each other, they will be able to say, hey, so that might not be the best way to do that. And if they're your people, you'll be like, yeah, you're right. And
It sounds
vice
like my
versa.
friend Jen.
Yeah.
My friend Jen, what she said is, she says, because we were talking about us as Yes Love as a group,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, yeah, you got to have somebody in the group that says, no, that's not right.
Right. Instead of it all being
no, this
like
is a dumb idea.
everyone's
or-
on the same
yeah.
page all the time.
Yeah, somebody
right?
to challenge,
Yes.
somebody to challenge the challenge, and
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, you need somebody on the team like that. I said, I think I kind of am that.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because
But I get what you're saying. You have
Right.
to have those people in your life to be able to make
Right.
you better, I guess. A better
Yeah.
version of yourself.
yeah, help you grow.
Yeah.
As a biologist, like we have the saying, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yes.
And so if you are staying exactly as you were, like if you were the same person you were now as you were 10 years ago, everything has passed you by. You're not staying with culture, with community, and you're not growing as you should. Like you're just not a developing human being like you should be. And so you need people in your life who will kind of point out those things in a way that works for you and preserves the relationship. But if it's someone who's known you for a long time, you've developed that trust with them, they'll know how to do that, you'll know how to hear that. And vice versa. I mean, you with someone in your life too, who you're able to speak into their existence and say, hey, that's probably not the best way to do that.
Are you sure you don't want to bring back some 2008 hairstyles?
Yeah. Did I post a picture? I did, didn't I? Yeah. I tried to go blonde. I have it's purple right now, which is working for me, but my hair is almost black naturally, and I tried to go blonde in 2008. And
I'm just saying that's 10 years. Right
well,
now, so
have you
it's
not
10
put,
years, yeah.
wow, see
So
now
you
I'm
said-
everything.
I'm trying to think picture.
I was like, I'm pretty sure
I don't know if you
It might have
posted.
been
You
in the
might
pub.
have.
I have at some point, but it might have been in
Yeah.
the pub and not in the tavern.
Yeah.
No, I may have. Yeah, it was kind of orange.
Oh.
It
I was
super
being
blonde.
silly. I was being silly, but
Yeah.
because
The
The haircut was similar.
But you do see people that wear that
Yes.
1995 hairband style haircut.
There's a lady at
They
work
need
who
somebody
has,
needs.
I think she's probably had the same hairstyle since 1985.
Yeah, it's okay to challenge your friends, and it's so
Yeah, well, see, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely a hairband kind.
yeah. So, but I mean, I was just kind of going off your point. Of,
Sure.
you-
And I didn't realize that was 10 years ago
Yeah,
now too.
yeah.
So.
I mean, my hairstyle doesn't really change,
Sure.
but my beard style does.
There you
so
There we go.
at least I have something.
As
But
long
yeah.
as you're growing and not dying.
Exactly.
There we go.
I mean, you can revisit things and try them again and see if they work now in a different way.
Yeah,
But
Mm.
yeah,
that's what the past shows us, right? What works and what didn't.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I've tried wearing neon colors. It doesn't work on me.
Sure. It does not work on me either. I wear jewel tones. It works
Oh.
on me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, Becky, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you for having
guys.
me. We really
This was
appreciate it.
fun.
yes, and make sure you follow her podcast.
Yes. I'm Mike, this is Albert. We're from Yes Love OKC. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.